Okay. Hello, welcome if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. My name is Jeff. I'm an artist, illustrator, and maker, and it's been a while since my last video. As you can tell, if you aren't new, I'm in a different space. I'm finally in my new studio, and it's been about 3 months since I've made a video for YouTube, and I'm really excited to be doing this one today. The reason why it's taken a while for me to do a video is I've actually been pretty busy with some client work. Over the past 3 months, I've done a mural for a school, I've ran a whole bunch of workshops for some school holiday programming, and I've also launched an animation that I created in collaboration with a friend. So yeah, I haven't really had the time to do a video for YouTube, and I always told myself that I wasn't going to just do something just for the sake of doing it. I want these videos to be quality. So that's why there's been a little delay, but I'm really excited to be doing this one today and getting back into the studio and having a bit of time for myself. So this video today is going to be a little experimentation play session. I'm going to be pulling a prompt out of my art diary and just seeing what I come up with. I also have a second camera now, which is another new thing. So I now have 2 going, which means I should be able to just get more quality content and like videos of me making stuff as well, which should hopefully make it easier. But yes, I have an art diary here, which I have been slowly over the past year or so been filling up with just different types of sketches. I try to do about an hour a week of just sitting down with this book and just drawing random ideas in it. Doesn't always happen, but it is something that I try and do regularly. So I was going through it the other day when I realized I will now have a bit of time in my studio, and I picked a page, this one here, and I'm going to be playing around with making this, what I'm calling Chunky Stems project. It's like a 3D sculptural piece. I'm going to go through it now, go through the concept, and just get making. So let's get into it. So I'm going to be making this freestanding cardboard flower stem. So it's got a bit of a bend, and I'm going to lay a whole bunch of cardboard together and stick it together so it's really nice and thick and chunky, and it can stand up. The idea is for it to be kind of like a mini 30 centimeter tall small art object piece. I'm going to paint it all up as well, and I might even add some extra details on, especially around the petal or maybe like the stems of the flower. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be starting with, and we'll see how it goes, I guess. Let's go. Okay, so first I'm going to make some paper templates with the idea that I'm going to use that as like a way to trace out all the different pieces of cardboard. So it's going to be like really simple like silhouettes. So I'm going to do that first. I definitely want the pieces to not be too big, so I think a square is a good start. Could be that way too. So how about I do... I really don't want to be precious with this idea either and focus on heaps of detail. I want to just get the idea out of my head and onto paper or like into cardboard. So I'm going to be constantly reminding myself to like not be too perfect with everything. So I think that's going to be the first concept. It could stand like that. No. So that's going to be the first flower idea and like rest on the petals. And I might quickly just do just do the first one. Just do the first one. Okay. Cardboard. I have a whole bunch of cardboard here. I get all my cardboard from a few different places. The cardboard that I have at the moment is from a warehouse that sells recycled cardboard. So essentially when factories or businesses have a whole bunch of cardboard that they're getting rid of, they will sell them or donate them to this company, and then people can go in and buy large quantities of one specific kind of box. And so for me, I've went in there and said I need a whole bunch of boxes that are double corrugated and a whole bunch of boxes that are single corrugated, and I was able to buy 30 that were all huge, big ones, all the same, in the same condition. And yeah, it's like a more sustainable way for me to purchase cardboard because it's all cardboard that would have gone into recycling. And it means I can get a lot of it in one go without having to go around and source it from different businesses or buying it new. If I'm relying on other businesses to have it as oh, it doesn't work. Okay, maybe I'll make a smaller version of this just so it fits on this piece of cardboard. Okay. Woo! Okay, so I'm now going to cut about 10 of these out of the cardboard, and then we'll go from there on the next step. Ta-da! Okay, so I've cut out 6 of the flowers, and although it's not thick enough to probably stand by itself, I get the idea of what it could look like. And I've just thought of a different way. Okay, so 2 solutions for where it could move from here. So one, I think I'm going to, just for this version, keep it like this, maybe make a little flat piece for it to sit on, and then that'll be the first concept. And then the second one that I think I might play around with is if I just make 2 of these and then make a band that I can do all the edges with. I can make like a prism that's hollow, which I've done before with my jewelry. With my, I've got this chunky jewelry, coincidentally with the name Chunky Stem, and this, it's kind of all like clicking for me. I'll put a little picture up here of it, essentially making a prism that will then stand up by itself, and I can make it super wide or however big I want, with just minimal work in terms of cutting all of these pieces out. I think that could be a better solution. It's going to be light, which is another thing I could workshop. But yeah, so I'm going to do a second version where I do it as a prism and show you as well. So I'm going to do that now. So I've now got some single corrugated cardboard, and that's what I'm going to use to cut out all the details. So I want to do a stripe for the stem. And alternate it on both sides. Don't be too neat, don't be too neat. And I think I'm going to Just crinkle it all so it feels nice and veiny. So I think the leaf should have like a bubble leaf, which I've been really enjoying doing in my illustrations. Cool. And I'm just gonna stick these on now, screw it. So I can just paint the layers over the top. And let's stick the other side on. Yeah, let's do it at the same time. Okay, cool. So with I think this side is my favorite. So with the flower, there's a few different ways I could approach it. I could do a flat petal design on cardboard as well, or I could have something that like pops off so it's like a 3D thing. I'm just gonna go flat because that keeps everything the same. Okay, so we're trying this angle now. Oh, it's gonna keep on moving. Oh well. All right, so far. Now the petals. I think I'm just gonna cut a whole bunch in all different sizes. No, I don't like that instantly. I think I just keep a simple circle. Let's put that over there. Simple circle for the bud and paint all the details. Yeah. All right, we'll go with that. I'm just doing it. Flower 1, flower 2. All right, time to clean up and start painting. Okay, this is just to show you what my cardboard stashes are like. So I've got big boxes, I've got thinner ones here that have been cut down. These are single and larger offcuts from these boxes. And then under here, I've got really small little pieces that tend to be used for workshops. And then under here are more, these are from workshops as well, but I use them for myself, and they're just like little mini pieces, little circle pieces as well. Okay, so for painting, I'm gonna try and keep it as simple as possible. There's one green that I really like to use. So it'll be yellow for the middle. I'm gonna make it a pink and red flower. And let's do that. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna start with the base and build up my layers and just see how it goes. I never like to over prepare or like plan when I'm painting. I feel like I can sometimes overthink paint and color theory and what I'm like supposed to do and what I think are like the best color combinations. So what I aim to do is tend to pick like an overall color palette, and then from there I just let myself make the decisions in the moment and trust my judgment of being an artist that I'll be able to come up with a color combo that works for everything. It's just the way that I like to work. And also when I'm layering up cardboard and painting multiple layers, which I did a lot of when I was making my cardboard mirror frame, which I might link in the video below. There tends to have to be a lot of thought put into when I'm painting particular layers, because you need to like make sure you don't like muck up parts you've already painted. But because this is a prototype and I'm keeping it simple and keeping it like not perfect, doesn't matter as much for this one. But if I just start with the base first, by base I mean the stem, and go from there, I'll be fine. Already I love the way the corrugations look when they've been painted. It's so delicious. And this paint is also very delicious. So I think I might just turn this into a bit of a time lapse again, and I'll come back at the end with a finished piece and some thoughts. Oh my god, I love it already. Such a big chunky boy. Alright, so we've got two sides of the stems done. Two different variations. This side's a little bit more clean and did a little bit of the graphic leaf design here, but don't really like it that much. And then on this side, I've done more of a lighter highlight as like an undershadow, and then a highlight on the top pieces. I like this one more than this side, or at least I don't like that. So it's either going to have to be really clean or doing nice gradient textural kind of color usage. And I really like how the cardboard texture is coming through as well. So now I'm going to work on the flowers. Let's move this out of the way. All right, so I think I'm done. So side one, side two. It's very much a reclining stem, a reclining flower. I think the name is starting to evolve. So in terms of the petals, I wanted to go much more abstract because I think it's just how I was feeling in the moment. I didn't want to do actual petals. I wanted to keep it really geometric and really simple. I think this is a lot more surreal and dreamlike. And then the little bit of the pink in the middle of both of the stems, I think just completes it really nicely. So I'm gonna probably take this home and see what it looks like in situ on my bedside table. And already lots of ideas are starting to percolate on how I could elevate this design and what else it could turn into, how I could refine it. So it's been how long? Okay, so 2 hours to create this. I think it's pretty great. And yeah, I'll see you in a minute. All right, so this is where I've decided to place my chunky stem. When I brought it home last night, I was like, this is totally the area. In my unit, I have a lot of color, so I've decided to cluster like color palettes throughout my different spaces. So this is like the reddy pinky area. So I thought this was the perfect spot for it. This is actually the first piece of cardboard furniture. Well, it's a first cardboard thing that I made years ago when I was at uni. It was a 2-weekend course that I did with a prop maker who specialized in cardboard. And yeah, so this whole space is quite new, or this little setup is quite new, with my little old plinth that I used for a project that is now like a little coffee table, and some cute flowers from my boyfriend from a while ago. So yeah, I think this is a perfect spot. Oh, and this is a cute little frog that I got from a market that was being sold by my neighbor, who just makes these cute little frogs. Really, really cool. And these are my vases that are also cardboard that I haven't spoken about much. I made them quite a few years ago. It's a product that I sell, but I don't really sell much of, and I don't think it's necessarily a product that is like a moneymaker for me, but it's another homewares piece that I'm working on and evolving, and maybe I'll do a video on these in the future. So I guess my final thoughts on this piece is that I love how thick and chunky it is and that it stands up by itself. I think there's a lot of potential to make more chunky stems like this. I think it's perfect for a few different projects that I have in mind. So I could see these on a really large scale, like huge big pieces that could be installations. If I wanted to get them made by like a company with like proper thick chunky like industrial cardboard and then like CNC routed cuts, I could do that, and then I could still paint them myself. I could also get them printed, so there's like next to no making by me, and I could make en masse, which isn't necessarily my ideal or like thing that I want to do, but it's an option in case a project like that happens. I really like the idea of this being almost like a chair or like a figure that is reclining, so like a head, body, arms. So I could do some more like reclining flowers. Maybe this is called the reclining flower, not the chunky stem. I kind of like that, reclining sprouts, reclining flowers, something like that. And I'll do a whole bunch of like reclining. Actually, I like that more. Chunky doesn't necessarily give it character, whereas reclining does. So like reclining posies or posies. Yeah, all right. Anyway, I can really see these becoming something new, and I'm really glad that I just used it to jump back into the studio and get making again, get the ideas happening. That's always been the aim for these kinds of projects where I'm just doing like prototyping, and that's what I really want to do going forward, is use these videos as a way to not only like force myself to play and to not be precious about my work, but also force myself to make new things and share the process. Okay, something else that I have just worked out as another solution is that these artworks could be really good for windowsills because they're really narrow but like big enough. So I'm going to show you this now. Okay, forget that the lighting is terrible because it's obviously being backlit, but I think this could be really nice for windowsills. Okay, I have another idea. Forget that it's a door, but imagine it was the archway above the door, like sitting on the edge, or like resting around the door frame, maybe like that. Yeah. So, and the last option I thought of is resting them on picture frames that are already hanging in a space. So they're quite light, which means if your hook is sturdy enough, they're not gonna like weigh it down. And I think that could be just another way of adding an artwork into your space. It doesn't have to be framed, and like is really flexible for you to like move it around, especially for like people who rent like me. I think that having artworks that you can have in different positions and restyle your space is really important. And I love to be able to like create artworks that are made for people like myself who are renters and can't afford heaps of art, but and like friends who could buy it at markets and things like that. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment down the bottom. If you think that this video could be something, or my channel in general could be something that one of your friends or studio buddies or family members or friends or whoever might like, then I'd love it if you could share the channel with them. Add me on Instagram. I'm on there quite a bit, and I was able to meet quite a few of you through the Jeff World illustration project, which was really lovely too, and like we spoke a bit on there. So yeah, feel free to add me, say hello, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye bye.